It's Christmas time and you've been shopping all night. The little ones have requested a console for their delight. You scan all the aisles, but to your dismay, you just can't remember the name of it today. After thinking, debating, and tossing ideas around, you pick up the console heading to checkout in a bound. Once you've wrapped the console and placed it by the tree, you wait for the day to see the children's glee. As they unwrap their console with a glow in their eyes, you watch in shock and horror as the glow up and dies. You have bought the wrong console, and on top of that, the games do not match, so well, there's that. If only Microsoft hadn't named their consoles so strange. Now you're off to the store to see about an exchange. If you're somebody who doesn't know much about the Xbox consoles and is looking to get a new one this holiday season, then you might be in for a confusing time. My goal today is to help you have less of a confusing time and to help you tell the difference between all the different Xbox consoles, because frankly, Microsoft sucks at naming things and none of the products they release really stand out from each other. So today we're going to go over how you can tell them apart. So the first things first, there are two lines of Xbox consoles right now. I'm going to call them lines for each product line. I'm going to call the older consoles the Xbox One line of consoles, and then you have the new consoles, the Xbox Series line of consoles. The Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S are the brand new consoles that just released on November 10th. Those are probably the ones you're going to be looking for. The Xbox One line of consoles, so you have the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, and the Xbox One X are the old consoles. The Xbox One X is a little newer, but it is not the same thing as the Series X. Xbox One X and Xbox Series X are not the same. Do not mix them up. You want the Series X. The biggest reason that we want to tell the difference between these two consoles is because the Xbox One consoles, the Xbox One line of consoles, can only play Xbox One games and older. So we had the original Xbox, the Xbox 360, and then we have the Xbox One. The Xbox One can play all those past games, but cannot play the Series games, the Xbox Series games. If you go into the store and you see a game that's labeled for Xbox Series X or S, then you won't be able to play that game if you happen to get an Xbox One console. What you will be able to do, though, if you get the new Xbox console, every single Xbox game you see in the store, you should be able to play. The only reason I say should is because there could be some oddballs at like used game stores of like old Xbox 360 games that you won't be able to play. Every single Xbox One game is playable on the Xbox Series line of consoles. You got that down? It's important to know that the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S are two different consoles. They have very different prices. The Xbox Series X is $500 and the Xbox Series S is $300. And that looks very attractive, right? $300? So here's a caveat with that. The Xbox Series X has a terabyte of internal storage and it has a disk drive. But the thing about the Xbox Series S is it doesn't have a disk drive and it has 500 gigabytes of storage. That's half a terabyte. There's a bit of that space taken up by the operating system that the Xbox runs on, so you have even less, maybe 400 or 375-ish, who knows? So this is where it gets pretty dicey, because the new Call of Duty is like 250 gigs, and if you're running the Xbox Series S, then that's all your space. You can't get any more games, so you're screwed. They do have an expandable storage option. This is pretty laughable. Let me pull it up. The Xbox Series SSD, the hard drive, the little expansion card pictured here, will cost you a whopping $219.99. So you do get a terabyte with that, but at that point, if you bought a Series S, you're at the same price point, even higher than the Series X console alone. So just something to be aware of. The Series S may look cheaper at first, but you will need that storage, and it will cost you more. Just a warning to you. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer any questions that you have. Now, besides the games that you can buy for the console and the consoles themselves, there are a couple services that you can get for these consoles to make your experience even that much better. The first example of this is Xbox Live Gold. So this service pretty much just allows you to play your games online with other people. So if your kid's really wanting to play Fortnite, that free game that on every other console is free to play online, you're out of luck unless you get Xbox Live Gold, because you can't play online unless you have that service. It's stupid, but this is how Xbox has done it. This is how they decided to do it. So if Siri is correct, Xbox Live Gold runs at $59.99 annually, $24.99 quarterly, or $9.99 monthly. So there's that for you. Another service that Microsoft has going for them is called Game Pass. And what it does is it gives you a huge library of games that you can just download and play without having to buy them individually. Think of it kind of like a Netflix for gaming, except if Netflix made you download the movies because you can't play them otherwise. You just download the movies and then play them. It comes with every first-party Xbox game. So any game made by Xbox Game Studios that are owned by Microsoft, will be on this service. And just recently, they included EA's line of games for their subscription service, which I forget the name of. I'll put it here. So it's a really good deal. For just $10, you can play hundreds of games. And that's just for a monthly subscription. There is another tier of this. It's counted as a separate subscription, and that's Game Pass Ultimate. So what it does is it ties Xbox Live Gold in with Game Pass, and it's $14.99, $15, I think, about, every single month. And that's just a monthly option. But the good side about this is if you were to get Xbox Live Gold every single month, you don't pay for like a year in advance or something, then it would cost you $10 every single month. But in this case, you're getting a $5 per month value just because it's tied in with Game Pass. Because if Game Pass is normally $10 and Live Gold is normally $10, you would have a $20 subscription, but this one is $15. So you kind of get a good deal there if you pair them together, and you don't have to pay for a whole year at once in order to get the deal. So if you're looking to get both of those services, then that's a pretty good plus for you. And the good thing about any of these subscription services is that you can opt out of them at any point. Not sure if you pay for Xbox Live Gold in advance. I doubt you'll be able to get that back. You maybe. I'm not an expert. But I do know you can opt out of Xbox Game Pass at any point. And that goes for Game Pass Ultimate as well. If you're getting up to the point where you need to be billed and you're like, I'm just not feeling it anymore, just cancel it on the computer, you're done. And you can do that using your Xbox account. Just with like Xbox.com. So pretty simple there. Overall, I think Xbox has some pretty good things going for it, but one of them is not their names. It's quite embarrassing, really, because it's easy to get Xbox One X and Xbox Series X very mixed up, and they really aren't doing themselves any favors by naming it this, especially calling it the Series. Now, nobody can refer to the Xbox consoles is like, oh, I like the Xbox series of consoles. Then it's like, are you talking about the actual, like, the Xbox series console? Or are you talking about them all? It's so stupid. Microsoft's dumb. But I thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this video helped. If it didn't, roast me below and I could redo it or something. But I wanted to get this out before Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and hopefully this helps you guys figure out what your goals are.